Hello and good afternoon. We're live on the Trade Decorator Festival, and this afternoon I'm going to be joined live by Gordon Farrer from the Festool Technical Training Team. Gordon will be joining me for a live Q&A a little later in the session, but first of all we're going to be watching a demonstration of the linear sander, the LS130, and also the cordless sanders, the ETSC, the RTSC and the DTSC. Before we go to the demonstration, welcome to everybody watching us over on Facebook. It's not too late to get involved in the live session. If you want to click on the link on Facebook and come and join us over here on Crowdcast, and that way you can put your questions to Gordon a little later in the session. Everybody already here on Crowdcast, feel free to comment in the comments box. There's a Ask a Question tab beneath me. Could I ask that you wait till we go to the Q&A session to put your questions in, as the questions won't transfer from here into the live session. So before we go live with Gordon, let's take a look at the sanders.
Hello, I'm Gordon from Festool UK, and a warm welcome to this 4 p.m. slot here at the second Trade Decorator virtual event. Due to the current COVID restrictions, I'm sending you this message from my location here in Preston. But don't worry, we have lots of great content to show you that we created at the end of last year for our very own Festool TV. The two videos we will show you now will cover two unique Festool solutions for the professional painter and decorator. Firstly, the LS130. Our linear sander designed for straight line sanding of mouldings such as spindles, architraves and skirting. Secondly, we're going to show you our unique 18-volt cordless sander range. Unique because they are hybrid. Yes, they are both battery and mains powered. I'm sure these will be of much interest to you guys.
Today I'd like to briefly introduce you to the Festool Duplex LS130 linear sander. As you know, Festool have a wide range of sanding options available for all different types of surface preparation. Festool's range of sanding options include hand abrasive sponges and papers, hand sanding blocks with dust extractor attachments, orbital sanders, eccentric or random orbit sanders, rotational sanders, belt sanders and of course the linear sander. And in this case, the LS130 is Festool's only pure linear sander in the range. So why would we use a linear sander? In most applications on a flat surface, an orbital or eccentric sander really does get the job done. But there are applications where we have to use our hands. Handrails, profiles, mouldings and rebates, these can all be very difficult areas to get to with any common type of powered sander. And the linear sander really comes into its own in these specific applications, particularly where there are a variety of shapes like corners and curves. And this is why the LS130 has such a wide range of base attachments that come in a variety of shapes and sizes to help us tackle those tricky curves and corners. Also, for those applications that not even these bases can get into, Festool have developed the DIY Profile Kit. This kit allows us to create our own base from scratch by either cutting or sanding the foam block that comes within the pack. This means that we can now sand almost any shape with a powered sander, ensuring we can sand to a consistent finish, reduce fatigue and collect all of that harmful dust at the source when using a Festool dust extractor. So let's take a little look at the tool itself. The LS130 is a really nice little sander with a 260 watt motor which drives the base on a 4mm linear sanding stroke. The 4mm stroke is a great size for dealing with the need to sand to a coarse, intermediate and fine finish. So it really does take care of a lot of work that we require. And of course, we have dust extraction ports at the rear of the tool for taking away the harmful dust at the source of where it's created. Not only does this help towards a healthier practice of safe working, but taking the dust away from the surface speeds up the sanding process and it ensures that we are at and not just the dust that's on it. We only have a few simple functions of the tool to talk through. The power switch. The switch needs to be held in to maintain power to the sander. However, the button on the side here is a power switch lock. So when we need to get the sander into places where we can't hold down the switch, power is used like so. To unlock this, we simply press the power switch again, which releases the lock. Near the back of the sander, we have the variable speed control. The amount of speed required will hugely depend on the materials being sanded and the grit of paper being used. I always start on a lower speed and build this up until I feel comfortable that the tool is doing the work required and it feels comfortable in my hands. We can also change the bases to suit the varying applications. This process is quick and simple. There are diagrams for this on the tool and on the packaging of bases for quick instructions to those that are new to the product. All we need to do is apply some downward pressure onto the base and release, like so. And then in order to install a new base, we simply place the two connectors at the bottom of the pad onto the bottom of the sander, apply to the bottom of the sander some downward pressure, and the base is in place. Simple as that. We can now connect our plug-it lead on our extractor and get to work. So it's pretty clear to see that the LS130 is a very useful tool and would save us lots of time and energy in hand sanding those corners and curves. Also, when combined with Festool dust extraction, we are massively reducing the airborne and surface dust during the process. This helps us to give the perfect finish, quickly and consistently. When buying any Festool tool, please be sure to register for Festool's warranty all-inclusive. Only you can do this. On the Festool UK website or any of the Festool apps, sign up or log in to your My Festool account for quick and easy tool registration. 3 years peace of mind with free servicing, repairs and theft protection. Today I'd like to introduce you to the Festool range of compact cordless sanders. Firstly, the ETSC 125. This is a lightweight eccentric sander with a compact design that offers a high removal rate. Next is the RTSC 400. This is an ideal sander for narrow and straight surfaces when we're sanding close to edges. And finally, the DTSC 400. This sander is perfect for sanding near edges and in corners with its iron-shaped pad. As with many of our 18-volt products, all three of these sanders are available in 3 versions: Basic, Plus and Set. Basic is simply the bare tool, the protector guard and the dust bag, all coming in a Festool sustainer. This is ideal for customers who already own the Festool 18-volt Ergo batteries. The Plus is the basic kit with the addition of two 18-volt ergo batteries and the TCL6 rapid charger. This is a standard setup if you just want to use the sander in a cordless function. And finally, the set version. This includes everything from the Plus kit as well as the ergo line adapter and Festool power lead. To get a clear understanding of the complete system, let's have a closer look at the set version. First of all, we have the sander itself. The body has a rubber ergonomic grip, a large green power button for ease of access, and just to the side here we will speed control. The speed can be adjusted to suit the material and user comfort. And all three sanders use Festool's maintenance-free brushless motor technology and can be used in conjunction with Festool's Bluetooth ergo batteries. This provides the sander with connectivity to the Festool dust extractor range. When Bluetooth batteries are connected to the dust extractor, the power tool can turn the dust extractor on and off using its own power switch. All three of the sanders are powered by 18-volt 3.1 amp hour ergo batteries. The ergo batteries have been specifically designed for these sanders to ensure they remain lightweight and well balanced. Great for prolonged use and overhead applications. Each of the sanders have a 2mm sanding stroke and weigh in at 1.4 kilograms with the battery installed. And using the TCL6 rapid charger, these batteries are fully charged within 30 minutes. Each sander has a protector guard, which allows for smooth sanding along window panes, frames and panelling for protecting the sanding pad and the workpiece. We simply push fit into position and detach as required. The dust bag attaches to the outlet of the rear of the tool by gently squeezing the sides. The sander's internal fan pulls dust from the surface and sends it through to the bag. To empty the bag, we then squeeze the sides and pull free. Removal of the bag engages the non-return flap to prevent dust escaping until we open the bag and dispose of the collected dust. So when used with batteries and dust bag, all tasks are possible. Maybe the application is sanding soffits and fascia boards, and using a sander at the top of a ladder connected to a power source and dust extractor is time consuming and cumbersome. Or perhaps you just need to nip in and do a small amount of sanding to complete a job. Whatever the need, this can now be done quickly and simply with a Festool range of cordless sanders. However, should we need to work on the job site for longer periods of time, we can now use Festool's ergo line adapter to connect to a Festool dust extractor for full uninterrupted power and complete extraction without the need for changing and charging batteries and emptying the small dust bag. The complete solution for flexibility and convenience, cordless and corded. So let me show you how we can quickly change from one system to the other. From having the battery installed, we simply press the green button to remove the battery and replace with the ergo line adapter, like so. Once installed, we can now add the plug-it lead. We simply push and twist. And finally, connecting the dust extractor hose. Now we're set up for a full day's work without any interruption. So that's the Festool range of cordless sanders. I'm Craig, and thanks for watching Festool TV.
Hi everyone, welcome back. That was our demonstration of the Festool dustless sanders. We're now going to be joined live by Gordon Farrer from Festool for our live Q&A. Hi everyone, good afternoon, we're live. Hello Gordon, thanks for joining us.
You're very welcome. Nice
I've got Gordon Farrer here from the Festool training team, and he's going to be taking your questions this afternoon in our Q&A. So if you could feel free to comment in the comments at the side there as we go along. If you do have a question, I see a few of you have found the questions tab beneath us, which says ask a question. If you tap on there and you can type your question in, and it will just help me keep track of the session. If any of you would like to come up live on the screen and speak to Gordon in person, if you could just put that in the comments bar that you'd like to come on screen, and I can then bring you up. If not, then we'll just carry on with the questions. So in the other session, Gordon, Mark Smith put a question in because he's not going to be able to watch live. So he asked if we could ask you, are there any plans to offer a changeable pad on the ETS, i.e. 125mm and 150mm like Mercury do?
No, there aren't, that I'm aware of. It's a really quick answer. If I did know, I'd have to kill you. But I don't know. No, there are no plans I've heard of. Festool are very keen on making specific solutions for specific projects and applications. So versatile, yes, in some cases, but no, not in this case. We have no plans that I'm aware of.
Okay, on to our next question. Vincent Boom's asking, he says, I have an ETSC 125 battery orbital sander. I know you can buy a battery adapter for it to connect it to a 220-volt socket. Yes. Could you also use it to connect it to a 110-volt socket with the right plug? He says his dust extractor is a Festool CTL Mini 110 volt with an onboard socket, and he was hoping to plug it in so he doesn't have to charge the battery as often.
Yes, I'm with you. I regret no.
Okay.
I'm sorry, they're not really compatible. No.
So he does have to just use the battery with it.
The battery with it for now.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no converters or anything that you can use like that. You can use 110 to 240. You'd use a transformer to plug your transformer into the mains, and then your 110 volt tool into the transformer. But no, sadly, no, you can't go that way.
Okay, Tom South is asking, he said he'd be interested in the prices of these. Have you got the prices to hand, or is
I have retail prices. These are list prices, but obviously the customers are better doing the research locally. We have a big network of paint dealers now and paint outlets. And I'm sure that one of those will be delighted to help. I could give you some retail list prices if that was of interest. You can give us some models that you're looking at and give you some quick retail prices, but these are likely to be higher than what you'll find either online or in store.
Okay.
If you know a model number, just jot us a message. I think Kelly's observing with us, and we can take some notes of the messages and we can get back to him by all means.
Okay, so if you let us know which models you're interested in, Tom, and we'll get somebody to get back to you on it. I've got a question from Brian Dennett. He says, what does a service cost for a machine that is over 3 years old?
Ooh, good question. I'm a bit like the Queen. You're going to hear this a few times today. I'm a bit like the Queen. I don't carry cash and I don't know the price of a pint of milk. My colleagues will be fed up of hearing that. I would guess we have a minimum charge of, I'm really guesstimating, I think it's about £30 for the labour, and then plus parts and any postage. Obviously, if it's within the warranty, as you gentlemen's already outlined, it's free of charge during the warranty period. But I think if you go to your My Festool app, you can download a form, and I think there's more information there you can look at as well that might give you that information. But if in doubt, ring our headquarters or the service department, and they'll give you a direct line as to how much it's going to cost. But I think the minimum is half an hour or an hour's labour, and then it's plus parts. So.
Okay. And will the LS130 sand metal, Gordon?
Yes, in certain circumstances. I've been with Festool a long time. I've used this tool for a lot of different applications. When we talk about sanding metal, in particular, you might be alluding to the fact, for example, if you're dealing with a shop fitter, or you've got some chrome finished, some brushed finish components like a handrail you might find in a supermarket or a showroom or something like that. The linear sander with something we call Vlies, but some people call Scotch-Brite, is a fantastic device for cleaning and retaining the grain on the metal. It will sand metal off. It will take surface rust off with the right we call it Vlies. It's called a Vlies, VLIES paper, and it will take off, sort of, what's that word, marks, just rust marks and things like that. It'll take that kind of damage off. So yeah, you can sand metal with it, no problem.
Okay, Simon's asking, he says, with airless sprayers becoming battery powered, is there any plans to make extractors battery powered, not just the sanders?
Well, again, if you visit our Festool website at the moment, you will see under new products, you should see some information on a new product. We are not at the moment launching, we're not battery powered dust extractors, but we have a solution that makes your dust extractor cord free. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think if you have to look visit festool.co.uk, look at new products, or actually if you Google or even look at our website and search power station, you might find a solution there.
Okay, fantastic. So if you take a look on the Festool website, Simon, and look for the power station, how easy is it, Gordon, to change the pad on an LS130?
Well, luckily, Craig just gave you a simple demonstration of that, but it's really, really simple. Simply sit it on the edge of a hard surface, for example, the desk I'm sitting on now, push it down, keep your hand on top of it, and the pad will literally pop off. And it's just 2 hooks on either end of the pad, and you just put some pressure on one side and the other pad hooks on from the other end. It's really, really simple. The pads are symmetrical, so you can't put them on the wrong way around. It's a really easy fix.
Oh, brilliant. And what's the smallest radius it'll handle?
Good question. In terms of standard radiuses, it's 10 millimeter. That's internal and external radiuses. But on top of that, you can actually, using what we call the custom pad or the DIY pad, which kind of undersells it rather. It's not DIY at all. These are professional tools, as we know. But we call it a DIY pad. You can actually replicate any kind of molding that you want to sand. So by simply sticking on some Velcro and sandpaper, you use the solid block that you saw Craig sanding in the box in the presentation, and you simply sand the molding, and the pad takes on the molding that you're sanding. And in that case, you can probably go down to about 6 mil. 6 mil radius will be the smallest. I would suggest that you can get a clean edge on.
Yeah. And can I use the same battery as I do my Festool drills?
No, but it is the same charger. So basically, if you're already on the Festool battery platform, you don't need to buy another charger. So for example, as Craig outlined, there are basic versions. The basic version is no batteries, no charger. You can buy a basic version and a battery if you're already on our battery platform and have chargers. So it's the same charger, but it has to be a different shaped battery for that machine.
Right. And on the cordless sander, is it as powerful as the 240 version?
Equally, they sound exactly the same. I did a presentation recently to our paint dealers, our paint distributors who sell Festool, and it literally is very difficult to spot the difference. You can't really see the difference. It is quite a unique tool, the RTSC, and with this hybrid design that we have, I call it a hybrid sander. So it's battery or it's mains. So use it on, for me, I would use it on mains most of the time. And then when you've got, for example, to go up a ladder to do a fascia, you're not dragging 10 meters of cable up to the roof to sand the fascias, then use the battery. That's the concept of it. It's a fantastic tool. And it's a world's first as well, by the way.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Another unique first from Festool.
I've got a question from Dave Dean. He's saying, when is the Festool power station available?
Hi, Dave. We are hoping by the summer. We're literally rolling it out at the moment. I'm, along with my colleagues, working on presentations for our dealer network and for some YouTubes and things like that. But at the moment, we're still waiting for one. It was sort of worldwide announced on the 15th of April, this week, basically. But sadly, we're still stuck in customs. I'm sure things will settle down on customs eventually. But at the moment, we have one. I'm going down to the office on Monday, and I'm hoping to get my grubby hands on it and have a play with it. It's a fantastic device, guys. Amazing product.
Brilliant. Jimmy is asking, how easy is it to create a moulding for the LS130 head?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really, really easy. In the DIY kit I spoke about earlier, we have 2 Velcros, one red, one black, and simply The one is thinner than the other, and basically you can actually even cut the Velcro to fit the moulding that you have. So if you've got a very complicated torus skirting, you can literally cut it into strips and layer it on and just try and copy it. I mean, when we get down to 6mm, 5mm radiuses, you really have to be careful. You want to keep the sharp edge so that you can get right in between the radiuses, if that is clear, to get into that little join between the radiuses. It is difficult, but basically it's a very clear, you can get a really good copy of a moulding. What I would say is the one to watch out for is when you're doing rebating, so you're going just directly into a corner. You saw there's a 90-degree pad available for the LS130, and on that pad, rather than putting one sandpaper over it, put two sandpapers on, and then they form a sharp edge. So when you do get into that corner, you can get right into the corner. I'm doing all this by hand. I look, I feel I should have puppets. But yeah, that's it. But honestly, it does a really good job. But obviously, the tighter the radiuses and the moulding, the more challenging it is. But you can improve that by simply cutting strips of the Velcro. It's a sticky back Velcro. Peel it off and then stick it on. But well worth a try. And the other thing about that as well is, if you have a large volume of this to sand, you're in a big project where they've got a lot of handrails, for example, it really does save an immense amount of time and handwork. So, it is worth investing in the DIY pad to do that.
Okay. I've got a question here about the benefits of using a dust extractor over, say, a Henry Hoover. What would you say they are?
Oh, don't get me going. Yeah. Henry, like this one. Everybody has a Henry. Before I joined Festool 20 years ago, I had a Henry in my garage. It's a clean-up tool. Basically the differences are immense. You've got the auto stop-start on the tool. You've got a filtration level, even on our entry-level extractor, which is called the CT15. You've got 0.3 of a micron filtration. And then you get more sophisticated as you look at the CTL Mini and the CTL MIDI. But the filtration level is the very first thing. The bag collection is so much better. The dust extraction, the dust collection on these machines is so much better than a Henry, which usually I believe is a wraparound bag around a big central filter. In Festool, you get a big block of dust in the box, and you can fill it completely. It comes out like a big brick. But add to that, guys, you've got the 3-year theft insurance, warranty all inclusive, free servicing for 3 years. As long as you register this machine through your My Festool app, yes, you're paying a few bob more for the Festool item, but the service and the backup and the quality of the finish. I could go on. Your tools come in the sustainer boxes. You're all aware of them. They're clipped to the top of the dust extractor. It's a transport system as well as a dust extractor. So there are immense differences. Do they both suck dust off the floor? Yes, they do. But what would happen, particularly with fine dust, if you're sanding plaster, you can use a Henry, you can sand the wall with plaster, and it comes out the other end. So because the filter is so coarse, sometimes it's 50 micron, maybe 25 micron, the dust is just going to go straight through the other end. Yes, it takes it away from your immediate environment, but it blows it out the other end of the room. So you still have to clean. And the massive benefit of using a dust extractor is the fact that you save time. And time is money. And if you save an hour a day cleaning at 20 to 25 pounds an hour, that's 120 pounds a week, 125 pounds a week. You're saving thousands a year in time, and then you can get on with more jobs.
Yeah,
that's the big benefit. You're saving time, you finish your job quicker, you create time, you do another job. So to me, it's a no-brainer.
Vincent Boom agrees with you. He says there's no comparison.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Vincent. Yes.
For our guys here, Gordon, that are listening, that say have got cordless drills, is there a basic version of the hybrid sander so that they can make use of their existing batteries?
There isn't a version of the sander with the just as a basic sander without batteries, but with the adapter. So basically, he would have to buy the basic sander, which always comes in a sustainer, and then buy the adapter second. If he's already got the Ergo batteries, then that's the way to do it. Unlike some of the other sanders where we only sell one version, we sell 3 versions of these, but we can't please everybody. We try, but if we can, we can give them a price on the basic sander and the power adapter that will do the job.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the best way we can do it, really.
And how many hours of runtime are on the battery? How long
Yeah,
between
okay.
charges?
Yeah, between charges. Well, basically, if you were to run the sander for a full non-stop session, the battery would last just over half an hour. You get just a little bit more runtime than you do charge time. So the batteries take about 30 minutes to charge to full, and you get something like 35, 40 minutes runtime. But if you're standing there for 35 minutes, that's a lot of sanding. So on and off, that's a different matter. And what we find in our measurements when we test tools and we do things, people say, "Oh, I've been using this all day. I've been using this for hours." In reality, it's not exactly that, you know. But certainly, the charge time is less than the runtime. That's the key thing to remember.
And is it free to get a My Festool account?
Absolutely. Just go to your local app store or register via our website to get yourself a My Festool account. The benefits are amazing. If we go back to the RTS Sanders, just for a quick point there, the Ergo batteries and all the Bluetooth batteries have a button on the back. Not only do they remote start your dust extractor, but actually you compare the battery to your app on the phone. And the benefit of that is you know where you last used the battery. So if you're on a site and you walk off and you think, "Oh, what have I done with tool?" You've got the location. I've done it. you go on your phone. You can see where you can see your app where you last used it and last switched it on. And also with technology and the Internet of Things that is running everything these days, of course. Basically, we will be able to update your batteries and things like that via wireless and things like that in the future. So there will be a lot more to come from Bluetooth accessories. And for me, just the best benefit of Bluetooth, cleaning up. You don't have to keep running back to the dust extractor. You don't have to keep running back to the dust extractor and switching it on and off. Just use the button on the remote. It's much easier.
Oh, well, that's clever. And if people are taking the tools to be serviced, how long does it take for them to for the repair?
Well, we aim for a turnaround of 48 hours from receipt. That's a maximum. It varies at the time of year. I mean, I will hold our hands up at the moment. There's challenges, as everybody knows, with parcel carriers, deliveries from Europe. There's a million different things at the moment that making life testing, let's call it, on some occasions. I don't want to lie to anybody. It's really challenging, but we are as soon as we get them in, we turn them around as quickly as possible. We have, I think, 7 or 8 engineers at our headquarters here in Bury St Edmunds, and you know, we normally, if we have the stuff, it's straight back out, and it's that quick. The only determining factor is making sure, again, if you use your My Festool app, you can have the tool collected from your site, from your home address, wherever you want to be. You know, we'd like to encourage you to take it to your local dealer as well. But if that's going to add time to it, just use the app, put your address in, get it collected from wherever you are. And generally, if you order it for collection today, under normal circumstances, it would be picked up on Monday. So, you know, so it's a really good service. As I say, there are, for everybody, delivery issues with carriers at the moment, what with Amazon and COVID and lots of other things. But we are endeavouring to do our very best on that.
Okay, thank you, Gordon. I think we've come to the end of our questions, unless there's anything anybody else would like to ask Gordon before we finish. It's been a great session this afternoon, guys. Thanks for getting involved. Thanks for all your questions. Thank you, Gordon, for joining me and for all the information you've provided for the guys here. It's been a great session. I will put a link in the comments when we finish for sessions that we've got coming up next week. If you've not registered, you can register for all the sessions for next week. And if there's anything you've missed or that you'd like to watch again, you can use the same links that you register on to watch the replays or check them out on our Facebook pages. So thanks again, everyone. And thank you, Gordon. Have a nice evening.
Think Festool. Thank you.